watching this incredible moment from? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you won't miss the other jaw-dropping Royal Guard stories we'll be sharing at the same time tomorrow. The heavy gray clouds hung over London, but the crowd in front of Buckingham Palace didn't seem to care. Tourists were gathered, cameras at the ready, watching the Queen's Guard standing motionless as always. But today was no ordinary day. On the edge of the crowd, a staggering man caught people's attention. His wrinkled jacket, the half-empty whiskey bottle in his hand, and the wild look in his eyes painted a troubling picture. Anger burned behind his foggy gaze. Without warning, he pushed through the crowd. He crossed the security line as some nearby tourists shot him concerned looks, but he ignored them all. The guards, true to their training, held their positions with stoic discipline. But the man wasn't just here to shout or make a scene. He reached into his coat and pulled out a gun. Gasps ripped through the crowd. A few screams broke out as people stumbled back in panic. The man's hand trembled as he pointed the weapon directly at the chest of the guard. Time seemed to freeze, but the guard didn't flinch. In a split second, years of brutal training took over. With precise reflexes, he tilted his head away from the line of fire and slammed his rifle into the man's arm with fierce force. The gun flew from the attacker's grasp, skidding across the stone pavement. As the weapon clattered to the ground, palace security sprang into action. In moments, they had tackled the man to the ground. The guard, as calm as ever, stepped back into position, restoring his posture with military precision. It was as if nothing had happened. Police arrived swiftly, securing the scene. The attacker lay pinned beneath the weight of justice, no fight left in him. His face twisted with regret and fear as officers led him away. Some tourists recorded the entire ordeal, their hands still shaking. Others simply stood frozen, still trying to process what they had just witnessed. One man in the crowd whispered, "The guards don't play around." Heads nodded in agreement. This was more than just a spectacle for tourists. This was a stark reminder of the unwavering commitment and courage of the Queen's Guard. That day, in the heart of London, the world saw the real face of duty. And no one would ever look at the Royal Guard the same way again. The training of the Royal Guards doesn't just make them ceremonial figures. They are, in every sense, the shield of the nation's security. And this incident proved once again just how strong their discipline and courage truly are. The crowd that had once gathered for photos and souvenirs now stood frozen, as if time itself had ground to a halt. Eyes, wide with disbelief, shifted from the subdued assailant to the unwavering figure of Guard Blackthorne, who remained locked in his defensive stance, breathing steady, gaze sharp. His uniform, though slightly disheveled from the scuffle, still gleamed under the pale London sun, a symbol of resilience against chaos. A hushed murmur rippled through the onlookers. Some instinctively reached for their phones, recording what they knew would become a story told around the world. Others simply stood in silent awe, witnessing a level of courage they had only seen in history books or grand cinema tales. Seconds later, as if choreographed by fate itself, the rapid footsteps of armed officers echoed off the ancient stones of Buckingham Palace. They closed in swiftly, neutralizing any remaining threat. The man who had dared to draw a weapon against the crown's protector was disarmed, restrained, and removed from the scene with calculated precision. But amidst the flurry of law enforcement activity, Blackthorne remained focused. His eyes scanned the crowd not with fear, but with the trained precision of a guardian who understood that danger rarely comes alone. He gave a subtle nod to his fellow guards, a silent signal that all was secure once more. Only then did he allow himself a measured breath. It was a moment that transcended duty. It was a demonstration of unwavering discipline, of a vow taken not just in ceremony, but in the deepest conviction of service. This was no tourist spectacle. This was the living embodiment of valor in the face of the unpredictable. Later, as the authorities conducted their investigation, details emerged about the assailant, a troubled man, known to local law enforcement, with a history of instability. But none of that lessened the gravity of what had unfolded. His actions had turned a peaceful day into a moment of peril, and it was the Royal Guard's unshakable resolve that had prevented disaster. Crowds began to disperse, some casting respectful glances toward Blackthorne as they left, others offering quiet words of gratitude. Though the guard, bound by protocol, offered no verbal reply, the slight lift of his chin said it all, duty fulfilled. Long after the square had emptied, long after the flashing lights had faded into the London mist, the story lingered in the air, a silent reminder of what it means to stand steadfast when chaos strikes. The legend of that day would live on, shared in cafes, written about in newspapers, and whispered among tourists visiting the palace gates. And as for Blackthorne, he would return to his post the very next day, standing tall, ever vigilant, knowing that the world had seen not just a man in uniform, but a guardian prepared to defend honor at any cost. Now, let me ask you, if you were in Guard Blackthorne's place, how would you have reacted? Don't forget to share your thoughts with us in the comments. And make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more unforgettable stories like this one.